And then is it our job to fulfill their expectations? Here's if I could ask a question to you, Ali, it would be, who set our expectations?
Right.
Who did? Is it not Marvel in their marketing when they come out and they say things like, this is the best movie since Endgame. This is the best movie since X. This one is going to kick off this next phase. This next show is going to reshape the MCU. I didn't say that stuff, did you?
Right.
You didn't tell me that. Marvel did, right?
Yep.
So they set our expectations. So, yes, it is your job to meet the expectations that you set for us. All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
Good morning.
This is where we get together once a week and discuss comics and only comics and little stuff in between here and there, you know. So, man, what's going on, dude? How we doing today?
Lovely day here in New England.
It is, man. A little brisk.
You're right. A little brisk. Had a little thunderstorm last night. Cooled things down about 30 degrees. I'm loving it.
Yeah, you and me both, dude. That's about where the loving it stops today. So this is a warning. Brace yourselves.
Right.
There's a lot going on. We've not decided the name for our donkey or our idiot of the week or whatever it's going to be called. You're not a pro wrestling fan. I was a huge pro wrestling fan. There's a guy, Chris Jericho. He used to call people stupid idiots.
Yep.
So maybe this could be our stupid idiot of the week. I
don't know, dude. I'm thinking just go straight asshole because some of the comments I've seen this week, I mean, let's just get past all the niceties and just get to it.
Yo, and there's a few individuals that are battling for this spot this week. Usually it's like, dude, by the time we get on, we already know. I mean, Andy Muschietti, I think he's a 5-time champ. You know, James Gunn's got a couple in there, Bob Iger. But this week, dude, even Kevin Feige is getting in on it.
Right?
Oh, yeah. So we'll get to that. We're not going to do a huge toe dip because, God, Secret Invasion. We're going to do our deep dive later. And this show, dude, here's what I'll say about it. Started off about here for me, Adrian. You know, you remember I gave first episode like a 7. I was hooked, man. I was excited. And then it kind of dipped down a little bit. It was like a roller coaster. Came back up for half a sec, and then you know that big drop?
Yep.
Like, you ever been on the Superman ride at Six Flags? They got the huge drop.
I have not been on the Superman ride, but I understand the drop from flying, so yeah.
There you go. So that's about how this show ended for me. So there's my toe dip, I guess. It went from a high to a low. The last episode, I give that a 3. That's how bad it was for me. Yeah.
Well, see, I was already at a 4.5 to a 5 from the very beginning. And once we got around to episode 4 and 5, I knew, they were going to try to cram a bunch of stuff into the last episode. And like I said last week, it's like a relationship. Don't show me the good stuff on the way, when you're trying to walk out the door or as I'm walking out the door, it's you got to be consistent throughout the way.
Right.
And they were consistently bad.
Yeah.
And the last episode, the last episode was the last episode. So I'm with you on the 4 on the last episode, but I was never really above a 5.5 anyway.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, it was now I would say this. I will say this. That Secret Invasion show is the worst show the MCU has put out.
And if you read into there's some trickle off comments, articles. Literally the day after they say that was the worst rated MCU episode series ever.
Yeah. And we joke about She-Hulk on here sometimes. I was actually hoping, Adrian, remember in the last episode of She-Hulk, remember when she stopped everything?
Yep.
Because of how bad it was?
Yep.
Right? And then she kicks out the little menu in Disney Plus. She goes down to the assembled, and she's like, she's attacking the writers. No lie, once we got a few minutes into this episode, I was hoping that happened here.
Right.
I was hoping somehow Jennifer Walters just showed up, knocks Nick Fury out the way, and is like, hold up, guys, this sucks. Because the same thing that she critiqued her own show about, it's almost like that was a prediction of what was going to happen here.
I think somebody's watching our show, man, because there was an article about a comment about She-Hulk, with the secret invasion thing.
Really?
So there was some correlation there. So we got some big wigs, secretly watching us. I understand that. You can do that.
Hey, they should. I mean, because we've been right about a lot of stuff too. That's the other thing we'll talk about later. There's some predictions. One that I remember, the whole roadie thing that we talked about. I was like, oh wow, I predicted that a couple days.
And I predicted about the power transfer. You asked me if he was going to get it or not. But we'll do that in a deep dive.
Yeah, so we were right. So and we're gonna have some predictions for some up and coming movies, but. So that's what you're getting for the toe dip today. Yeah. Horrible, bad. So if we were doing this toe dip on this one, I ain't getting in the water, bro.
Right. Nope. I'm staying completely away from the lake. Just you can have it yourself. I'm done with this.
Yep. I'm going back home. So, all right, now one of our actually it is my favorite segment. This is what we call Newsflash, buddy.
Right.
Because this is what people say. Certain people, Adrian, that look similar to me at times. They say this when they're about to correct you, they're about to lay some shit down. You said you did something to piss them off. It's like, newsflash, buddy.
Right.
So who's gonna be our buddy this week?
I'm thinking it's Selim, man. He pissed me off, dude. Whatever.
Yep. So maybe it's not even a bad name. Maybe this is just our buddy of the week, man. Who is our buddy this week? Who are we dropping newsflash, buddy, on? So, Secret Invasion director. God, this is your guy, right? So you're talking about?
Yep.
What's his name?
Selim.
Selim.
I'm thinking. I'm sure I'm probably gutting that name, but it looks like Selim.
I don't know the last, but I'm gonna go with Ali. I think it's Ali. Ali Selim. So he is the director. So interesting. We actually mentioned this in our when we were reviewing the show or previewing the show. One of the things I said that was good was this guy Ali Selim is going to direct every single episode. It'd have some, maybe it would have some consistency, right? You would think, but obviously that's not what happened because some episodes are much better than others.
It did happen. He was consistently bad.
Now he discussed the passionate Marvel fan base, which is a lot of you guys watching and us sitting here, right? Now, first thing our buddy says, he says, "Oh, I don't read reviews. With all due respect." Oh, he's too above that.
Right.
For me, I view all the storytelling work I do as a dialogue with an audience. When the show is finished and put up on the screen, that's my half of the dialogue, and the audience then starts their half of the response to it. I think that's valuable, but I don't know how to answer the question. So you think it's valuable, but you don't pay no attention to it.
Right.
Which, hey, whatever. That part, I don't really care. This is where it's funny because when a show does well, the directors come out, they praise it. Oh, we love the fan. They gave us all this great feedback. But then it's like when your show's bad, you don't want to hear it.
Right.
It's like then it's the fans. It's like we don't understand it. We're stupid. So he asked, is it our job to fulfill their expectations or to tell the story that we were telling? So it's a tricky thing. I would love it if everybody loved it, but I also don't have the expectation myself, so I feel great about the response to it. Is it our job? Is it, Adrian, their jobs to fulfill our expectations?
Absolutely is. And those two statements that you read contradicted this guy. I mean, he contradicted himself.
Yep.
Well, I don't read the reviews, but then he goes to say, I feel great about the response to it.
Yeah.
Well, in order for you to respond, feel great about the response, you have to read or hear about the response.
Right.
Either way, so
God. And then is it our job to fulfill their expectations? Here's if I could ask a question to you, Ali, it would be, who set our expectations?
Right.
Who did? Is it not Marvel in their marketing when they come out and they say things like, this is the best movie since Endgame. This is the best movie since X. This one is going to kick off this next phase. This next show is going to reshape the MCU. I didn't say that stuff, did you?
Right.
You didn't tell me that. Marvel did, right?
Yep.
So they set our expectations. So, yes, it is your job to meet the expectations that you set for us.
Right. And, there's also this thing called two sides of a conversation or two sides to a story. You just can't, blurt out or vomit out your half of it and then go, what did he say? I'm going to go read a newspaper or something like that.
Yeah.
You just can't. You can't just blurt out your part of it and then shut down and not listen to the other half, which is us.
Yeah. And in the same sentence, you said that the other side of the conversation is valuable.
Right.
Well, if we're having a conversation, that means we're both talking and listening.
Right.
So tune in to us, Ali, and so you're up in the running for now. Is Ali our buddy this week, or do you think someone else kind of did us a little worse?
So far he's my number one.
He's number one right now. But yes, because he gave us this shitty show. He teased it, started off pretty good one episode, and then fell off the freaking rails.
Right.
The other thing is with all these episodes being so short, and a lot of which we'll talk about later, my critique's going to be how just a lot of these plot lines just kind of fell flat.
Right.
They needed more to them,
Mm-hmm.
but we had an additional 20 minutes every week that we didn't utilize.
Right. Like this one was 37 minutes.
Yeah.
I expected the last one, to kind of wrap this thing up to be like an extended version.
Yeah, like an hour maybe.
Hour and a half, hour 15 minutes,
Right.
something. Not another 37-minute disaster, basically.
Yeah, I was with you. I was very shocked when I looked at the episode time before I threw it on the other day. I was shocked. I mean, dude, the episode was so bad, Adrian. I came in here without you because you said you didn't watch it yet. So I was like, dude, I can't wait. I had to just pop in to do like a mental dump to get this shit. It was like I was taking a shit almost. Like that's, like you eat something real bad, you just got to get it out. Yeah, that's kind of what it was. I got like food poisoning from this show almost. Yeah,
Wow.
I had to take a mental dump here because of how bad the show was. But yeah, so my man Ali, he's up in the running. I don't agree with what he said. I think that it is. Now, is it your job to fill our expectations? Maybe not. But as a director, isn't it your job to make a good series?
Right.
Like, did they hire you to make a bad series?
I don't know what's going on. And then, what do you say? I'm going to ride off into the sunset on my bike.
Yeah.
Or something. So he says all these things. He contradicts himself. And then, he gets very dismissive in the end. It's done. So I'm just going to, pedal off into the next thing, and I don't really care what you say. But that's.
It's like, are we critics? No, but we're the fans, and you are making this content for the fans.
Right.
So when they do have bad feedback about something you've done, why wouldn't you want to hear it?
Right.
That way you can maybe not do it again.
Is this guy setting a precedence? Is Ali Selim, James Gunn, these directors in Disney, are they setting a precedence where they're pumping out so much content that they're going to become insensitive to the public? They're just going to pump out crap, take a dump and just keep it moving. And, not only is the comic universe going to suffer, but we're going to suffer because we're going to get, pulled back and forth on whether this stuff is good or not.
Right.
I'm not seeing a good future with what's happening right now. With this style of directing. I understand the political side of it, but you know what? If it's so political, step back. We'll take a movie not so quickly coming out,
right,
and get better quality than the machine gun us this garbage that's coming out. Invasion, She-Hulk, that kind of crap. You can keep that stuff.
Yeah. So next piece of news here, Daredevil Born Again.
Okay.
That this is the MCU's version of Daredevil. We talked about it briefly a few weeks ago. Charlie Cox is playing Matt Murdock again. My man who plays Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, he's back, that actor. You've not seen Hawkeye, right?
No, I have not.
No. That's actually, speaking of bad Disney Plus MCU shows, that's actually one of the better ones. Right. Now, wait till Christmas to watch it. It's Christmas themed, pretty cool. So, but anyways, Kingpin shows up in this. Same character, little difference, right? He's kind of, a lot of people make fun of the fact that they threw like a Hawaiian shirt on him underneath his white suit, but I'm like, I don't know. I mean, whatever. But he's still a badass. Right. And there's a character, Echo. You ever heard of her from the comics?
I have not. I was reading through it. I'm like, Echo? I don't even remember.
Me neither. But she was introduced in Hawkeye. She's a deaf superhero. She's not a superhero. She actually starts out kind of like a villain. But she's like a assassin, Hawkeye, Black Widow type of character. Pretty badass. She's deaf, and she is Wilson Fisk's niece. Okay. So that's how they brought Fisk into the whole Hawkeye series.
Gotcha.
So a couple things we know. the new Daredevil show, Born Again, is going to have an 18-episode run for the first season. So that's longer than anything Marvel's done.
Right.
So that makes me think that it's going to be more like a show and not like these long movies that they pretend are shows. Now, you're a big fan of the original Daredevil.
Yes, very much so.
I just started watching it a month ago or whatever, and I'm loving it.
Right.
Which it's kind of like, man, you I don't remember that Arsenio Hall skit. I think it was on Chappelle's show, and he's eating some cheese, and he's freaking out because how good he's like, why you ain't tell me how good the cheese was? And he's like, mad. That's how I feel about the Daredevil show. I'm like, but the thing is mostly y'all did tell me. I just didn't watch it.
Right.
You know? So this show's coming out. Daredevil, I believe, next year at some point. Echo, they are giving Echo her own show. Okay, so this may be, you know, kind of what you were just talking about. Is it just too much? Like, why does Echo need a show? I don't know. She's a slightly intriguing character. But the thing about that, they just cut the show from 6 episodes to 5. And they are dumping the show all at once on Disney+. Now, this is where you said maybe they're listening to us, Adrian. Did I not say when we started this Secret Invasion, even when I liked the episode, what did I say my biggest issue was?
They're spoon-feeding us something that's short and mediocre anyway.
Right. And they should just drop it all at once, right? Because it's not a show. It's a long movie.
That's right.
It's not a show. Stop calling them shows. They're not shows.
You know, in the first place, just don't even put out Echo. Just, you know, write her a check and let her, you know, ride off into the sunset with Ali Selim, and just don't even put the show up. Don't insult us any more than what you already have.
But now they're probably still going to put it out, so I don't know if they listen to you, Adrian. But I am glad they're dropping it all at once because now Secret Invasion, I would have preferred that all at once.
Right.
That way I could just get, it's like we talking about the food poisoning. I just want to get it in and out, dude.
Right,
it's going to be that bad. Let me eat it real quick. Let me take this dump and then get it moving, right? I don't want to be prolonged. I mean, would you like to have food poisoning for 3 weeks or for 3 hours?
Exactly.
I'm going to pick 3 hours every day, dude.
Yep.
So this is being done. So I'm excited about that. The fact that it's all dumped at once. I'm glad they cut out one episode because that means it probably wasn't good.
Right.
Got you.
I'm struggling to even because I read that Echo appeared in Daredevil or something a couple of times, right?
No, Hawkeye.
Yep. Well, the fact that I haven't seen Hawkeye, which is why I don't even know who the character is.
Right. But they are trying to tie all these into Daredevil in a way because you have, Kingpin was in Hawkeye. Daredevil was in She-Hulk for a couple episodes.
Yep.
And now they're saying that Daredevil is going to be in Echo for a couple episodes. Kind of same deal. He'll be in one fight scene in episode 2 and then a cameo in the series finale. The other thing is also, now I know I'm the one reading this, but why should we know this already?
Right.
Shouldn't we just wait and see?
I'm afraid of the wait and see thing because of what's been happening recently. So just give me a couple of headlines. Give me the Cliff Note version of this stuff. Let me make my decision as to whether or not I want to consume it, and then let's just move on with some good other quality content. I
think what we get too much of, Adrian, is when they want to tell us everything before we see it. Like in these trailers sometimes. They show way too much.
Right. They show you the entire movie so that when you get to the movie, you're underwhelmed.
Yeah.
It's like they don't care about whether you like the movie. They've already shown you the movie.
Right.
Now they just want your dollars. And then Alice, you get the Alice Selim comment. Well, we don't care what you think anyway, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we already got what we want.
Right. That's why I'm like, I know we're talking about it later, but the Ninja Turtle movie, I feel like they've given us a little bit in these previews, but not much.
Right.
Not much at all.
And I like that. Give me a teaser. Don't give me the movie.
Right.
Like my wife says, like I don't even need to go to the movies now. I feel like I've seen the whole thing.
Yeah. Yep. So and I feel like they're doing that like with this show, and maybe to your point, they think that it's going to be so underwhelming, so they're just trying to give us shit to, like, everyone loves Daredevil. Let's tell them he's going to be in it.
Right.
But dude, I would have been it would have been so much better for me if I'm watching this show and I'm going, this shitty ass show. Then episode 2 comes up and then Daredevil pops up. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't expect that.
Exactly.
Versus like, oh wait, I can't wait to see episode 2 to see Daredevil. You know what I mean? Like it's way too much.
And then most likely disappointed.
Exactly. Yep. So Next up, my man, Kevin Feige, Kevin is known as like, he's the man, right? He's the MCU guy. He's been at the helm of this whole, this whole movement from day one. He's the glue that keeps the MCU together.
Alrighty.
Right? That's who he's been, for a long time. But what'd you say a few weeks ago? Another clown steps up?
Right. Something like that.
Something like that. Well, here, I don't know. Is Kevin Feige our buddy this week? Is he buddy?
I'm going to pass on this comment for now.
All right.
I might jump in later. But
let me explain to you, Adrian, why he's in the running. Okay.
Right.
So we saw now, these are spoiler alert, Secret Invasion, spoiler alert. We're getting into it right here. Because what Kevin Feige, his offense this week has to do with the last episode. So why is he in the running? Is he our buddy this week? Kevin Feige wanted the Super Skrull fight. Mm-hmm. One of my biggest issues, if you guys saw when I came here the other day, or you'll hear about it in a little bit, don't worry. One of my biggest issues with this last episode, Adrian, was this damn Super Skrull fight.
Right.
It was just, it was a mess. It looked like, I don't even know. We're not going to get into it right now. But what it was, Emilia Clarke and Kingsley Ben Adir's characters, right? So Gaia and Gravik are in this fight where they have every power that has ever graced the MCU screen, pretty much.
Right.
And we got, all of a sudden, Hulk's arms here, Drax's arms is here, Captain Marvel's legs are in it.
Right.
Only thing
glowing eyeballs,
powers being shot off. Like it was a lot. Yeah. It was a lot. So one of the worst parts, and it was all CGI, so it took a series that was very slow and serious and brooding and made it a joke, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Did you like this fight at all?
Actually, listening to you narrate it that way, that's actually how I feel about the MCU that's right now.
Yeah.
It's slow, it's brooding, it's like walking through molasses, and then they do this stuff. They try to dump a whole bunch of crap into one time frame all at once, and it just doesn't make sense. Yep. And they do a shitty job of rendering the graphics. Mm-hmm. So that fight scene represents what's happening with Disney and MCU right now.
Yeah. What's that old saying? Is 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag or something like that? That's what they're doing. So why is Kevin Feige in the discussion for newsflash, buddy? He is the one who wanted this battle. It was Kevin Feige's idea. They said that. So Ali, your boy Ali Selim said that Feige was on set on the battle, and he's saying we're gonna have a Super Skrull fight, and all superpowers are fair game. That's like some shit you say when you're like 5 years old and you're like sitting there with your buddies, like, all right, man, who's the most, like, actually, it'd be something we would say, right? Who's the most powerful character, Adrian? Right. All characters are on the table.
Right.
Like, this is what he's doing for the show. And Kevin Feige says we're going to have a Super Skrull fight. All the powers are on the table. I think it's best communicated in the moment when Gravik takes a vial from Fury, the Harvest, puts it in the computer for analysis, and we see superpowers scrolling here. Dude, It's like an unlimited scrolling list.
Right.
It was, speaking of She-Hulk, it's like when she was scrolling through a little dating app. It's like
exactly,
that.
Exactly.
And Selim said it was a discussion of paper, scissors, rock. Now, isn't it rock, paper, scissors? Have you ever? Now I know it's not important at all, but have you ever heard? This is you got to evaluate people. This is the whole problem.
Right.
Is it a discussion of paper, scissors, rock? No one says that. That's not the name of the game. So, anyways, that's besides the point. But that's how they picked the powers, pretty much. It was like rock, paper. Imagine that. They just like, hey, let's use Captain Marvel or Captain America, and they just throw them out. Oh, Captain Marvel. Yeah, fuck, I'll throw that one in there. So Kevin Feige, this was his idea. They said, this is the other part that you're going to be shocked at, Adrian. I know you said that seems like they just rushed this out. They storyboarded this sequence for a month.
Yeah, I read that. I'm like, what? Matter of fact, Ali Selim was working. Would they say he was working on it for what, 28 months or 18 months or more than 5 days, which is what the show looks like. They invested in it.
Man, so visual storyboards, they say that, this one transition from this arm to a different arm was an attempt to be more elegant. There's a lot of words that I would use to describe that entire scene.
Elegant
is not one of them. Right. No, it's way down on the list. So Kevin Feige, he's in the running. we'll get into more about that scene of why it's stupid at the end of this. But next up, this is a guy who he's not in the running, man. This is we joke a lot about about comics and have fun on this podcast, but there is something really real happening right now in the comic book world, and the Screen Actors Guild strike.
Right.
Writers are on strike. What that means is a lot of people, unfortunately, are not getting paid right now.
Right.
And when I say unfortunately, these are the ones that we don't see, right? These are the ones that behind the scenes, the people that brought us these Endgames, Infinity, all these great stories, and some of the bad ones.
Right.
But the people that are working their asses off to bring us this, the ones that normally are not. We always see the actors, right? They always get all the shine. But and even them, they're out of work right now. So my man, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now he's been through some shit this year, right?
Right.
I mean, Black Adam. I actually loved the movie.
Oh, I did too. I definitely loved that movie.
Like, I know it's older, but one of these weeks when we have nothing else to talk about, Adrian, we're just going to review that movie and talk about why it's so awesome, because it is great.
Yeah.
But that movie came out, was not marketed the best by DC. In my opinion, it pretty much bombed. Dwayne Johnson, he's pushing for Cavill to be back in the DCU.
Right.
And he wants to see Black Adam square off with Superman. James Gunn takes over and basically puts the kibosh on that. Like, nope, not happening. They basically nicely escort him out of the franchise, right?
Yep.
Then we see him go back to Fast and Furious, which people kind of looked at as like, oh, that's kind of like a bitch move because you came out and said all the stuff that you weren't going to do. I'm glad he is back because he should be in the movie. If we're going to make 12 of these crazy movies, why not?
Right.
And then this is where he comes out like looking like a hero again.
Mm-hmm.
My man made a 7-figure donation to this Writers Guild.
Was it actually 7 figures or
Upwards.
Up to 7 figures?
Yeah, it said a milestone 7-figure, so upwards of $1 million.
Okay.
Upwards of. So, yeah, over
Either
$1
way.
million. Yeah.
Either way, it's a lot of money.
Yeah. Biggest donation anyone's ever made to one of these funds in the past. What they said is it's going to help keep food on the table, keep cars running for thousands of writers, which is awesome.
Right. I love that charity. But I also kind of think that he's doing this also because of the fallout from all the other stuff that happened around Black Adam and so on and so forth.
Maybe. Or he's buying his way back in, you think?
I do think so a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like, hey, helping you helps me, I guess, right?
But, either way, despite that, the fact that, he stepped up to the plate, he stepped up and he made such an enormous donation to help all these thousands of people. No other single person that I'm aware of made those kind of contributions. Matter of fact, I think his single contribution eclipsed any other contribution total of any other group of contributions. So, good. I mean, I like The Rock. I've liked him since his wrestling days. I never really followed him, but he's always been an inspirational figure when it comes to entertainment. And this is a good move for him, I think. And it's also a good move for the writers and all these other people, especially the ones that, behind the scenes that not getting their face, splattered all over the news or, the James Gunns and the Tom Cruises and all these other people that's talking nonsense. So, Rock, we appreciate you, man. Keep doing it.
Yeah. And let's get this strike settled.
Yeah,
that's the other thing, because the longer
we all suffering.
Exactly, the longer this thing goes on, we're gonna start seeing more movies pushed back. We've not seen a ton pushed back yet, but it could get pretty bad.
Well, this is just the stuff that they're telling us.
Right,
they're spoon feeding us some things. Oh, we're gonna put these out, but let's retract this a little bit.
Yep.
So they're keeping their name. I think it's all marketing. They keep their name out there, and then let's pull this back. Garbage.
Yep. All right, last piece of news. No, second to last. Henry Cavill, we were just talking about him. Yep. He is heavily rumored. Now, this is a rumor, not been confirmed, so don't go, you guys told me this. This is a rumor.
Right.
Rumor is he has been casted to play Captain Britain in Captain America Brave New World.
I hope this rumor is much more positive than the Nick Cage Superman rumor 25 years ago.
Now, do you know anything about Captain Britain? Brian Braddock is his name.
Captain Britain is the England version of Captain America.
Okay, so he's super serum, whole deal.
I'm not sure about the super serum,
Yeah.
but he's definitely like that vigilante kind of esque kind of a character. But I think he was developed as a mirror of the American Captain America.
Okay. Now, do you think Henry Cavill will if he does, if this rumor is real, you think that will play out well? You think you can play this character?
So back in the 80s, Pierce Brosnan, he was in Remington Steele, and he came out and he was like, what's the guy that played King?
Oh, Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors. He owned that character, that Remington Steele character.
Yeah.
And so people were, trying to get him to be the next Bond. And in the movie studios, they held onto his contract. They wouldn't release him from his contract.
Oh,
so
wow.
he had to wait like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
Just to play the Bonds. But when he did it, my boy, he pulled a Christian Bale on me with the Batman. He owned that character. I think Henry Cavill will do the same thing for the Captain Britain character. He will. That is besides the Superman thing, that would probably be his next iconic role when in the comic universe.
Okay, so in your opinion, this is the next best thing since he can't play Superman no more because they decided to get a guy who looks just like him to replace him.
Yep.
Because I don't know. I mean, your theory is it's because it's cheaper, right?
Right.
I mean, because Henry's a big name now, so let's get this guy no one knows who looks almost exactly like him.
Right. I mean, I'm still on the fence with this split of Falcon and Captain America. Being played by a single character. I'm thinking just phase out. Leave Sam as the Falcon and bring in Cavill as Captain America. I'm down for that too.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So what else going on this week? We have Kraven. They dropped the Red Band trailer the other day. Kraven, Spider-Man villain. Trailer looks great, dude.
Yeah.
Looks awesome. Are you a fan of Kraven from the comics? Or
it's not that I'm a fan of him, but he's been a consistent nemesis for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I'm well aware of him. I don't know the full extent of his powers and what he's capable of doing, but the trailer drop definitely looks intriguing.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that. I just hope they don't overplay that or basically play the entire movie before the movie comes out.
Yeah, because that is one thing. The trailer has a lot in it, dude.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot.
Yeah,
and it's like, God, are they gonna do this again? Do we really have to see every part of this movie?
Tease a little bit.
Yeah,
people tease a little bit in your marketing. Don't put the entire movie in that, or you release 1, 2, and 3 previews.
Yep.
And between the 3 of them, the only thing that's missing is him waking up in the morning making coffee.
Exactly. But yeah, this thing looks good, man. Now the only issue, right? They're like, damn, you always have issues. I do always have issues, Adrian. that is my thing. That's my gimmick. I got issues, right?
We all got
issues. I have a lot of them. So my issue with this Kraven movie is I'm afraid that they're gonna do or make some of the same mistakes that the Venom movie made, right? Is where they take a villain and try to make him an anti-hero just because. And they did that with the Venom,
right?
Which, whatever, well, it is what it is. But I hope they don't do that with this Kraven movie. And the problem with these Sony movies is the fact that they don't have a Spider-Man, but they're building a Spider-Man universe with Spider-Man villain with no Spider-Man.
Well, I can kind of accept this because it introduces us to one of Spider-Man's most consistent villains.
Yeah.
So build him individually. Don't bring him into a Spider-Man movie and then tell his story.
Right.
Build him individually. And, give him 1 or 2. Do it over 1 or 2 movies even, and then bring him into Spider-Man. That way, people understand who this guy is, what his full capability is. He can hold his own, and then you can do the ins and out of Spider-Man. Matter of fact, you can bring him in on other MCU stuff. Kraven is a powerful character on his own. He's not like a Spider-Man thing, but he can definitely hold his own.
Now, that would be great if they did that, but the problem has been so far is even though Marvel owns all these characters, they've leased some of them out to Sony, leased some of them out to Fox in the past. They've got the Fox ones back. Sony still owns the Spider-Man characters.
Right.
But they have an agreement where Spider-Man can appear in MCU stuff. The Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Right.
But these sideline characters, the Venoms, the Kraven, I mean, they came out with that, what was it, Morpheus movie maybe, which Jared Leto, which that completely bombed and I've not seen. I have no interest in seeing it. There's even a tease of Rhino in this Kraven movie.
Yes.
But are we ever going to see Spider-Man here? We've not seen it yet.
Again, I'm okay because remember, like even the Captain America was over a decade.
Yeah.
Wolverine was over a decade. The fact that this Kraven character isn't a main character like a Spider-Man, a Superman, a Captain America, that doesn't mean that he can't be built up in a way. Don't give him 10 years, give him 5 years.
Yeah.
Build him up to some degree. If he's going to be that main character, that main nemesis, and he is, then build him up over a few movies, a few movies, and then integrate, have him battle. And I agree, don't make him a villain or superhero or whatever. Make him what he is.
Yeah.
He's a savage. Leave him like that.
Right. Like, dude, take a risk. Build a universe where people are dying for Spider-Man to show up, and then throw him in there.
Right.
Like, what? They're too safe, I think, sometimes.
Right.
I think that's been the issue with MCU right now is it's too safe.
Is Disney. That's what I said a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
They're trying to be under this umbrella of Disney family, Little Mermaid values, and the comic book world is not that.
No.
You have some savage characters in that. Kraven, Venom, Goblin, they are savages.
Yep. And it's like everything doesn't need a happy ending. The best, one of the best, and I don't know, that would be a fun show when we just pick like our top 5 comic movies, period.
Right.
One of my top movies would be Infinity War.
Okay.
But that's a movie that doesn't end well.
Right.
They take a risk.
Mm-hmm.
They kill off half the damn universe and go, hey, next movie's in a year. See ya.
Right.
Like, what happened to that, Marvel?
Disney.
Well, Disney was there then, too. I mean, maybe it's Bob Iger. Yeah, who knows? But I just feel like they've had all this success, and now they're afraid, right? The best time is when we haven't had the success yet. When we're on that rise up, because then it's like, shit, we'll take a risk, dude. We'll
Right.
kill off this character. We'll do this. We'll actually make the snap happen. We'll cut out half the universe.
Right.
We'll kill off, this character for good. We'll kill Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America's 100 years old. He's done.
Right.
Like, that's risky.
Yep.
And then now it's just like everything has to be, whatever mess you make in this 6-episode show, we got to put it back together in the last one.
Right. Doesn't work.
Doesn't work at all. So, but Kraven, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I don't remember the release date. Now let me ask you this, dude. So we got 3 Spider-Men on the table pretty much, right? So if Adrian's in the seat of Ali Selim, no, you're Kevin Feige, okay? It's your choice, Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to build this Spider-Man villain universe, but we do want to throw a Spider-Man in there. Do we take Tom Holland and make this an MCU thing? Do we take Andrew Garfield and give him another shot at it and make this a continue of his, or do we bring Tobey Maguire back? Well, who would be your pick? Or entirely new person?
I'll stick with the Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Wasn't a fan of Garfield, Tobey Maguire. I just can't. I mean, he's my age without the beard, so I'm not feeling that at all.
Yeah.
So Tom Holland, I would be consistent with Tom Holland.
Yeah, I think I'd say the same. I do like Garfield. I feel like I'd like to see him get another movie in his own universe, and I don't think the way these built these characters would vibe well with him.
Right. I'm down with that. I'm down with a different universe. Garfield, Tobey Maguire. I mean,
yeah, I'm good.
Not at all.
No, yeah, I don't want to see him anymore.
Yeah,
I'm good. It is what it is. But yeah, so Kraven movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles next week.
Yep.
So I have a feeling, Adrian, I don't want to jinx it, right? Because we've had some letdowns so far. But I have a feeling we're going to have a much different view of our content next week after seeing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think we will not have that. It won't be food poisoning.
Right.
I think it's going to be good.
I'm predicting that it will be good. I also think it'll be inspirational.
Yes.
Some kind of like a turning point kind of thing when it comes to inspiring younger people.
Yep. And that's a great point, or a great way to describe it, because I would say the same thing, and we did about the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I love that these movies, they have something for everyone. If you're an adult, I mean, I appreciate the art style. I appreciate the animation. I appreciate the music. I appreciate the look. I appreciate the character development, all that great stuff. From a kid's standpoint, it's fun. It's action, right? It's funny. It's got right humor. But then there's also this subtle message, like, you know, in the Spider-Man movie, it was, hey, be you. Do things your way, right? Like, be yourself or whatnot. I mean, there's how many times did Miles say that throughout? And to your point, I don't know what it's going to be with this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, but I do agree. I feel like it's going to be something that has a deeper meaning to it. And so far, what a lot of the reviews have said is just that it has something for everyone.
Right. I think the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was about, you know, you are different. But regardless of how different you are, there's something special about you, and you can make a difference. And I think that speaks to a crowd like no other at this time. Yeah, you know, in you know the cinematic universe. Right. So I'm counting more on that. It'll be more inspirational than just a good movie, and I think it'll be a good movie.
Yeah. Now we've so far this year the best comic movies, in my opinion. I guess I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but let's say this one is a great movie. Yep. Which sounds like it will be. The animated movies are kicking the shit out of the live action movies. Right. Now, I would be okay with this. Here's my thought. Here's what I think should be done. We got the MCU. It could be saved. I don't think it's not like, you know, it's not like dying. Right. But I would be okay, maybe even prefer a cinematic universe done in the animation world with the same level of attention, detail, marketing, budget that the MCU has.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. Not only, and this is a prediction, and I'm saying this because I'm saying it, but I think that they should also focus on, not even to bridge, but because they can now. We've seen it in the game, like the game previews. Why can't they make animation like the games that we see, the game previews that we see? That awesome shading, the gradients, the color, the vividness. Let's get some of those, like movie level, you know, immersive environments or films, like they do with the gaming previews, and make animated movies with them.
Yeah. I mean, because some of these games have had better stories than a lot of the movies and stuff. Like, we were talking about Kraven. Kraven's also going to be in the next Spider-Man game. Right. And I don't know if you've seen that, but I sent you the trailer for Hit. Dude, that's like watching a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
To your point, so why not use that quality? And I'd be all for that.
Right. I mean, I don't know what the difference. I'm sure there's a cost difference. Right. But I saw this one show with this one animation that was made like a game. It was a game preview when Lex Luthor had pretty much killed off the entire Justice League.
Oh yeah, and Injustice.
Yep. Yeah. That was awesome. Yeah. So let's do it.
Oh yeah, and they actually use a lot of the stuff now. So the Unreal Engine, the one they use to create a lot of these games was used in The Mandalorian, also in the Batman movie. So they have this new technique now where instead of CGI, instead of green screening it, they put these massive LED boards up and they can create real environments on them, and the light interacts with the actors more realistic, so they don't have to add it in after the fact. So it's actually real. So that's why, like in the Batman, how those scenes with the sunset and all that look so real. It ain't CGI. It's this Unreal Engine, massive, LED boards, light shining on the actual actors. Right. Okay. So yeah, the technology's there, but yeah, I would be all for it.
Hey, off topic. Have you seen this giant globe they built in Vegas?
Yes.
This thing is that's insane. Yeah. That's insane.
Yep. That is awesome. And yeah, they do concerts and shit inside. I'd love to go there for a show. Right. Anyway, so yes. Not Kraven. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles drops next week. Seth Rogen is like a big producer, director in this, I believe, or actually one of the writers. Who would have thought, dude? Seth Rogen, the guy from all these like funny little, stoner type comedies, is going to be like behind a lot of the top. Like he works on The Boys too.
Right? Does he?
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Producer on that show.
Weed Rolling. Didn't he open up a distribution?
He sells like pottery and shit, and then I think also like bowls and bongs and stuff like that. Yeah,
I think he sells pot, not just.
I don't think he actually sells. I think he just sells the stuff to you.
I don't know. I know he's according to him, he's like a big weed guy.
Oh, he is. Yep.
So that's cool. That's cool.
Yep. So, but yeah, I think this movie's gonna be great. We'll review it here next week. And that's it for Newsflash Buddy this week. So, who's our buddy? Who would you say, Adrian? Your vote.
I'm still going with Ali, man.
Yeah. I think you have a strong case, dude. I mean, Kevin Feige, he tried, but he wasn't that big of an offender this week.
Yeah. Ali, man, my boy, he's not the asshole. He's that internal lineman.
He's the whole ass.
The whole ass.
Yeah, he ain't the asshole. He's the whole ass this week. Yep. So he's our buddy. He's Newsflash Buddy is Ali Selim. I don't even really know who this dude is. I just know that the Secret Invasion show I'm not a big fan of. So or his comments about it.
The day after. I mean, the headlines is like Secret Invasion is the worst MCU series ever. I mean, not even a week goes by.
Right.
Immediately garbage.
I just want to point out, Adrian, I said that here last week.
Yes, sir.
And then, maybe y'all were listening and you copied. I don't know. Or it was just that bad that we all can recognize.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, it's like calling a spade, right? Like you and I both know that wall's blue. There's no dispute about it right now. There's blue lights on it.
That's right.
It's kind of like this show sucked. There's no one's confused about it.
Yep.
Actually, there was one person. I remember his name. I'm not going to pull it up right now. But
Tom Cruise?
No. Maybe it was his burner account. But he commented on our video or when I came in the other day, and he said that he loved Secret Invasion, from the beginning till the end. It's like, wow, you are the only person so far that's told me that.
Ever.
I'm glad someone liked it.
That was Tom Cruise.
It was definitely Tom Cruise and his burner account.
Right.
All right, so this is it, our deep dive, our last deep dive of Secret Invasion.
Yes.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
This show, oh, man. You know what? I said a lot the other day, Adrian. I'm going to let you start. All right, you tell me, what is it? What was the issue with this show? This episode?
It felt like it was being drawn out. It felt like they were trying to go someplace, but they never really got there.
Yeah.
It felt like they were trying to, and I've always said I'm a big proponent of, let's not focus so much on the supers and show the power of, actual humans. But they kind of went overboard on a couple of things. I didn't like the fact that Nick Fury was basically a pussy through this whole thing. The way he portrayed his role during this whole thing. It was so much. They were trying to make it so complex and so cute that they failed on all, avenues. Yeah. So, and it was just slow. Yeah. It was just slow. It was disappointing that the length of time they could have done so much more in each episode. The wrap up was trash. That whole Super Scroll thing was garbage. I didn't like it from the very beginning. I mean, I gave it hope.
Yeah.
With the 4.5 and 5 or whatever, but the end just killed it. And I agree with you. It's like a 3.5 or 4 at the end.
Yeah. So I'm giving this episode a 3.
Yeah.
I agree with a lot of what you said. It's just. God, it was bad. And I mean, I think we kind of knew this episode 5, right? That it was no chance of them saving this.
Right.
I mean, now unless they did what we, assumed they should or could have done was had a longer episode and built some of this more, more.
Right.
It's weird because it felt dragged out, but it also felt short.
Exactly.
So it was a lot of these plot lines, slow moving, and then just put that over there. We don't need to worry about. We've not. Isn't there a war brewing between the U.S. and Russia in this show?
Yes.
And that's just not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
It's just, whatever. It's just off, put that off in the back burner for a little bit and focus on something else.
Right.
And the fact that there's these 1 million scrolls somewhere, we saw a few of them.
Right.
They're just still out there now. So, I mean, maybe that's stuff they'll settle in the future, but it just seems like they teased so much and then delivered so little.
Right. I agree.
They had Captain Marvel show up in the damn, which I was wrong about. I predicted that.
Right.
She showed up in Ms. Marvel at the end. Why couldn't they have her show up here?
Because I didn't want her to show up.
Because you didn't want and why do we go back to this? So I said this earlier, and I'll explain a little more in detail now. So She-Hulk. You remember that finale?
Yep.
They're at the retreat area or whatever where Abomination, he's like this,
Right.
he's like this damn yoga instructor now, right? So
Right.
they're there, and then I don't remember this vividly. I just know big fight breaks out. The dude Todd, he actually got Jen's blood. He uses it and becomes a Hulk, right?
Yep.
And then Bruce shows up from space to help save his cousin. There's this big fight, and then she's like, hold on, stop. And she's
Right.
like, is anyone else like see how bad this is? Like, why are we doing the same stuff? Why does he have powers? Why does Todd have powers?
Right.
Why are we doing this? Sounds awfully familiar. She goes, it's just like the whole super serum, thing. Like, oh, here we go with that again.
Yep.
And then she talks about how all these plot lines don't make sense, right? And then they try to save it with a big CGI big monster fight, right? Which is what they did in the Incredible Hulk movie, which was back, second MCU movie. They've done it in so many other movies since, in that whole super serum thing. Like that was the whole Caps thing, right? Everyone's trying to get the super serum. And then here we go again with the Hulk's blood. And then here we go again with the harvest.
Right.
It's the same story.
Right.
So you get the same story over and over again. And then you try to save it with a massive just CGI fight, which nobody wants to see.
Right.
In my opinion, one of the best shows that MCU put out, two of the best are WandaVision and Loki. Loki ends, there's no fight in Loki. Kang the Conqueror, He Who Remains shows up.
Right.
They have this big dialogue. They introduce the multiverse. He's killed with one little knife, and then multiverse starts.
Right.
Everyone loved it. It was great. WandaVision. There was a bit of a fight in there.
Sure.
But not crazy, like not something that didn't make sense. Agatha was there the whole time. We realized big twist. She's the villain. White Vision comes back. He's this, super whatever. Little fight, and then we learn, and there was so much emotion in that show with Wanda, the kids, Vision, and then it ends, and that leads into Multiverse of Madness. This show, it was like they just wanted to make this happy ending, right? And then the end of this, so we get this stupid freaking battle. Nick Fury's not even, to your point about Nick Fury, he's not even in this fight.
Right.
Where we learn at first, we think it's him with the powers. It's not. Gaia and Gravik, who Gaia's been like this sideline character for the whole show.
Right.
She's killed off for an episode. Now she's back, gets all these powers. Nick Fury's off trying to make up to his Skrull wife who tried to kill him.
Right.
Like, Adrian, you've been married a long time. I have as well. Your wife tries to kill you. You're going to make up with her a couple days later?
No comment.
No. Yeah, no comment. She could be watching. But, I mean, she tried to kill him.
Right.
She turned on him. And then this whole thing of you love me in my own skin, it's like, and then he kisses the green Skrull at the end.
Right.
Happy ending for everyone. Like, dude, really?
It was a lot. So I want to start with the prediction. So, and,
Okay.
and this is what I'm thinking that this is why I'm thinking Tom Cruise is watching our show, right? Because we've been saying some things, we've been predicting some things.
Yep.
I mean, we talking at more than 50% accuracy here, right? So early on, we predicted Rhodes' character was
Yep.
he
Was a Skrull.
he was a Skrull, and he was already contained in that facility.
Yep.
So true. I predicted in this one that Gaia, when she said that I'm gonna put on a good face,
Yep.
right? I predicted that either she was gonna show up as Maria Hill and get Nick off,
Yep.
right? Or she was gonna show up as Nick some kind of way, right?
Yep. And she
So
did.
and she did. And I also predicted that because you asked me, do you think that Gravik is going to get the powers?
Yep.
Right. And I said, typically what happens is he will get it some kind of way, but they'll screw him on the end.
Yep.
Which is what happened.
Yep.
So he got the power, but she did too.
Right.
Right. There was this dumb battle.
Yep.
Now here's the craze. So pretty much 3 predictions right off the rip that were pretty much 100% accurate.
Right.
But here's the rip on the other side of this. So Nick shoots Gravik at some point, rips off half of his face, and he like immediately recovers, right?
Yep.
His death thrust was a shot to the torso. I mean, he should have recovered from that, and now he's just gone.
Right.
And that's how they ended that. You got all of these
Just
powers rolling around in you, and one shot, you're out of the picture.
Yeah. And I think that was the biggest. So I don't have an issue with the fight scene. It's a comic book movie or a show. I don't have an issue with powers. I have an issue with stuff that doesn't make sense and isn't consistent.
Right.
Right. I said this the other day. We watch Spider-Man take days, weeks, months, depending on, I don't know how long this, the highlight reel is in the movie, to master his powers, right? We saw two people who mastered like a dozen or more powers in like 15 seconds.
On the fly.
On the fly.
Now, and here's the other big disappointment. Gravik, he knew what was in the harvest.
Yep.
When you covet something, when you want something, don't you research it? Don't you study it? He should have known at least what the powers were and how they work. So there is no way Guy should have had the upper hand on that. None whatsoever.
I agree. There's no way Guy should have won that fight by herself.
Right.
She should not.
Right. That's just like T'Challa's sister becoming the Black Panther and then taking out Namor, 150-year-old militant combatant, you know, the one of the first mutants.
Exactly.
That's ridiculous.
As ridiculous as that is, I can go there more than I can go here, because in that they used they trapped him on the ship. They used the heat to drain him from his powers. He was away from the water, so they weakened him and gave her an upper hand. So I can buy that better than I can buy this.
Okay, I can go with that. They leveled the playing field.
Yes, and then they dropped him on the island in the sun.
Right.
This is just like, my man, Gravik's already had powers, first of all.
Right.
So he actually has more powers than Gaia.
Right.
And he's more sadistic. We've already seen that.
Yep.
He's supposedly this genius, right? Put together this crazy plan. And all that being said, the minute they get powers, somehow Gaia knows how to use the powers better than Gravik. But to your point, Gravik's been researched. He knows what's in the harvest.
Right.
Right? I mean, he's the one that has this machine. He knows how to use the damn machine.
Right.
And she mastered Captain Marvel's powers faster than Captain Marvel mastered her powers.
Right. I mean, that's insane. And besides the fact that, why were they using the exact powers at the same time?
Yep.
Or alternately?
And then you had time. You're fighting for your life, Adrian, and you go, you know what would be really cool if I flexed with Drax's tattoos real quick. Like, really?
Or it's like, I see that arm. Let me pop my arm out too, and then let's run at each other. It's like, come on.
It was like, remember in Guardians, you got an idiot, I got an idiot. It's like, you got a Hulk arm, I got a Hulk arm too. Look,
exactly.
Oh, you got that Captain America leg, me too. Look.
I'm trying to figure out still, like, so this dude took out all of his time. This dude being Fury, right?
Yep.
Out of the world coming to an end and all this other kind of stuff. He had the forethought to go around conveniently and pick up DNA from everybody.
Right.
So number one, when you go around picking up blood, because they did this with Batman and they did this with Superman, right? That's how they came up with Superboy, and that's how they came up with there was a variant of Batman and all this other kind of stuff, right? Well, actually, Batman did the deed with Talia. So
Damien. Oh yeah.
Batman
ain't afraid, bro.
He gave his DNA freely.
Exactly.
But so they went around and collected all these blood droplets or whatever they did, right? How did they know whose DNA was whose?
Right.
Number one. Number two, you have a single vial with this pus in it.
Yep.
Right. How do you separate all these DNAs individually? I just.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Fury wasn't even at the battle of Endgame.
Right.
Now, I think they made a comment where they alluded to the fact that the Skrulls did that for him.
Even so, how do they know whose DNA is whose?
Like, and how is that ever the plan? Like, all right, so we're going to have this big battle, right? We're trying to save the universe, but I need you to do me a favor. Take this little cup thing, Adrian, and as soon as they're done, look for purple blood. That's Thanos. Scoop that up. Okay, right.
Got it.
And then over that area over there, that's where Captain Marvel was fighting. Scoop up any blood you find there. Right. And then, Captain America was on the other side. So hit that over there. Mm-hmm. And by the way, try to get some Groot blood while you're at it. Like, so they're just scooping it up off the dirt and like, it's stupid.
Right.
It's stupid.
Right.
And you're like, well, it's a comic book movie. Everything's all made up. I know, but it's kind of like it's made up in this universe that has these rules that the creators of this kind of agreed upon. Mm. And then when you do stuff that just doesn't make sense, to me, it's lazy writing.
Right. Absolutely.
There's definitely other ways they could have came up with a reason why Nick Fury has these powers, right? Mm-hmm. Or the DNA. Maybe Nick Fury, to be part of the Avengers, they do some type of evaluation. Maybe they do some blood work on you. Right. I don't know. I mean, make sure you're not going to fucking die tomorrow or something. Who knows? Right. Like, let's come up with something put a little more thought into it.
This is like in the business world. This mirrors the stuff that happens in the business world. When you have like a Stan Lee coming out with Marvel, when you have like a what's the dude that started Apple?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. They, Sam Walter for Walmart. Yep. You know, these companies, they create, these guys or these people create these companies with an idea. And for whatever reason, you know, in order to grow, they have to bring somebody in or they die off. Yep. And then the next person comes in and instead of maintaining continuity, right? Instead of keeping the essence of why this thing was created, you've done all the work, so I'm just going to come in and fart all over everything that you've done because I want to bring my own version out. Right. And that's it appears to be what's happening right now. Everybody wants their version, their stamp on these things, and they're messing things up. Yep. They're confusing the audience, and they're disappointing the audience. And I'm saying audience because I'm part of that audience, and I'm disappointed, and I'm confused.
Right, right. You know, to your point, you know, Kevin Feige, he wanted this Skrull fight in there. Why? Because Super Skrulls are in the comic. Okay, everything from the comics isn't good.
Right.
I'm a huge fan of comics, Adrian. It's why we do this show, right?
Right.
But is every comic book good?
Nope.
No. So just because it happened in the comics doesn't mean it needs to happen on screen.
And also, why are we trying to reproduce every superhero in the first introduction of the Super Skrull?
Yeah,
I think when I first saw the Super Skrulls, they were the Fantastic Four. Right. Yep. So that's 4 power sets.
Right. Not
that's
40.
Great. That's limited. Yep. You know, and they were fighting other superheroes, not 2 Super Skrulls. Right. With the same ridiculous.
Because now this is the problem that a lot of people are already talking about. Gaia is now the most powerful individual in the entire MCU.
Right. And she's walking down an alley at the end of the show. Right. Why is she walking anywhere? Yeah, exactly. In them same little Lord Fauntleroy clothes.
Yep. So, as a whole, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to rate this episode. I say 3. What do you say?
I'll go with 3.
3. So 3 on this episode. I'm going to give you the good and the bad for the series for me, because there has been some good in my mind, right? Some not as many. I mean, probably 1 or 2. What's the good coming out of this for me? Sonya Fallsworth is probably, you know, if you asked me a few weeks ago, my favorite character from the show was, I would have said Nick Fury. I'm going to say Sonya right now. I really like her character. So the fact that we're going to see more of her moving forward, to me, that's a plus. The Rhodey story, that was probably the best character arc in this entire show, maybe, because to your point, I don't like where Nick Fury is at the end of this. Guy, I thought her character was stupid. Gravik, I mean, he was great until the end. Sonya, you know, is up there, but I think Rhodes, I really like what they did with his character in this show, so that's a plus. And now, I as shitty as this show was, I am intrigued a lot more about the Armor Wars movie now, because now it's not only just about, you know, what's Rhodey been up to. Well, shit, Rhodey just now came back to life, pretty much.
Right.
He was in this damn pod for who knows how long. So that show should be intriguing.
Right. They alluded to a long time. They specifically said when he was coming out, they was like, hold on, you've been in this for a long time. So how long is long, you know?
I'm going to make a prediction here.
Yes, sir.
Because we're normally right about these things, right?
And I think this is a repeat prediction. I think you said this before.
I think I did. Yeah. I'm going to say that I think that Rhodey has been a Skrull since the end of Civil War.
Yes, I tend to agree.
Now, if you notice, when he came out of the pod, what was he wearing?
Medical garb or something.
Yep. Everyone else wasn't.
Right.
And if you remember in that movie Civil War is when Vision shoots him out of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
He's paralyzed.
Right.
And I do think there is a scene where we see him in that same, and I'm not seeing side-by-side view, but it looks like very similar medical garb, right? Because he lost the feeling in his legs.
Right.
Now, at the end of that movie, we saw him have some kind of, I don't know, some brace that helped him walk again, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've not seen that since either.
Okay.
They're not really showing his legs, but who knows? So anyway, I'm going to make a prediction and say that he's been in captivity in this little pod since Civil War. So again, what are my ups? Sonya, Rhodey, Nick. I do love the fact that Samuel L. Jackson finally got his time to be a star in one of these shows, because he's always been that sideline. I don't like where they ended with Nick Fury, but I think some of the better scenes were him. I think this show had at times some good dialogue scenes, like the Rhodey and Fury scene at the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It was just those two. I think that was a great scene. I think Talos and Fury on the train was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Gravik had some good dialogue scenes with Fury and Gaia or Talos. So those were the ups.
Okay.
About 3 or 4. The downs for me, the inconsistent tone.
Mm-hmm.
Starts off as very serious, paranoid type thriller. Felt like it was going to be like a Winter Soldier type of feeling. Lost that real quick. The other downs, some of these sideline characters, the Gaias, the president, I didn't really care for. Like they were wasted in my opinion. So as much as Sonya, Rhodey, great. I don't like where Nick Fury ended up at the end. I don't like the whole sideline plot with the wife. I thought it got real stupid and corny at the end. And then, of course, the plot lines just kind of dropping off and everything else we said about the stupid Super Skrull fight. Those were things that were all downs for me. So as a whole, I'm going to give this series as a whole, Adrian, I'm thinking 4.5.
Okay.
Yep. I almost said 5, but no, that would 4.5. It's got to be less. I'd rather, this is going to mess you up. You're never going to believe I'm going to say this. Maybe you would. I'd rather watch The Flash again than watch any episode from this show.
Jesus. No, I wouldn't have expected that. But I can understand where you're coming from. But wow.
Yeah, I'd rather watch
Marvel, you messed up on this one.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. What about you, man? What would you give? Well, you said 4.
Well, I'll go with 4 overall.
Okay.
All the episodes individually were not that good to me.
Yeah.
I agree. I think I think that the best thing that came out of this was Sonya.
Yeah.
The second best thing is I actually feel better about Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
Playing the Rhodey character.
Yep.
He really impressed me more in the political arena than the actual Iron Man part. That role, the War Machine part. But I can see him moving forward. As the War Machine. So that was a surprising thing for me. The bad, everything else. There's no reason to go back and check and was that and blah blah. This was just a bad series. The only other good thing I think that comes out of this is that it will probably, and we don't understand it yet, it will probably fill some holes in some of the other movies that's coming out. Maybe Gaia pop up somewhere, and where does she come from? Sonya will pop up, and I hope she do.
Yes.
Where did she come from? So this will kind of explain some of those things, but I don't like the overtone that Gaia is the most powerful character in the MCU right now.
Yeah.
Because Emilia Clarke's character was such a weak portrayal of Gaia, and I thought, and I was hoping that she would come out as being having a more prominent role. Yeah. I kind of didn't expect this, but it doesn't make sense for her character to be doing what she's doing.
Right.
I also thought that Priscilla, what's her name? Nick's wife?
Yeah, Priscilla.
Priscilla. Yeah. I thought the movie was about her, really.
Yeah.
I mean, she was so much of part of the last 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be about her.
Right.
I wouldn't have been surprised if she became the Super Skrull or something.
know.
So it was just a disappointing series. I'm not saying that I'm disappointed overall that I ever saw it, but it's like anything else. And how do you know when you're watching a good movie? Well, you see some bad ones,
Right.
And this was a bad one.
Yeah, it's a great point. Yeah, and again, I'm not mad I watched it because dude, listen, I'm here. I've been an MCU fan since before it was called the MCU. Since Iron Man 1, I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna watch them, but I'm gonna have my opinions about them because this is something I spent a lot of time, money, emotion. I've invested a lot in comic book stuff. I mean, God, and we've had some ups. I mean, some of my favorite moments have been, like going to watch Endgame the day it came out and being in there with packed theater, everybody react like that stuff's cool. So I love the MCU, but anything I love, I'm gonna have my other feelings about. And there's definitely I did not love this show, but yeah, I'm not mad we watched it. I mean, hey, it's another comic book show I got to see. It was not all bad, but to your point, the goods were few and far between. But kind of leads me to some predictions because there are a lot that this show kind of left on the table. Right. And I agree with you. I bet we're going to see a lot of it in some of these up and coming movies and shows. So we named a few earlier. So like next up in line, the Marvels, I think, is the next MCU piece of content. I think that comes out before any of the shows. Right.
Which we'll see Fury, of course.
Yeah, we'll see Fury. Do you think we see Gaia in that show?
I'm feeling about Gaia the way I'm feeling about Captain Marvel. I don't want to see her.
You don't want to see her.
But do I think that she'll show up? I don't think so. I mean, it's kind of early.
Yeah.
For that kind of a pivot.
Yep. I think she'll be there, but I think it will be in like maybe an end credit scene or something at the very end of the movie. Sure. I think we'll see Sonya very soon. Yeah. I hope we do.
I hope so too. I think her and Nick have to rekindle their super spy relationship.
And we've seen Sonya and Gaia agree to kind of work together.
Right.
And I like what Sonya said. She was straight up like, I'm going to use you and you're going to use me.
Right.
Like, let's just be real. Like, we're not going to be a team. Now, do you think that alliance has anything or will have anything to do with the Thunderbolts?
It would make sense that it would.
Because she's not going to be building her own group, right?
Right. I don't want to think that far ahead because Feige, Ali, all these guys, they've messed up so much stuff. I don't want to set myself up for a disappointment.
Got it. But yeah, I could see her playing some role in there. But then what do you do with the Constantine character? It's just like 4 names: Allegra De Fontaine, Constantine something.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do with her if you're going to have Sonya in a similar role? Who knows?
Well, there's probably some across the pond thing.
Yeah.
Because Sonya's England, right?
Yeah.
Fontaine is America, so there's probably going to be some across the pond collaboration or head bashing or something. But regardless of how we spend this, sneak Sonya in there somewhere.
Yeah, we definitely need to see her again. So the Marvels, Armor Wars is another one. I don't know when that comes out. Who God only knows now with everything being pushed back.
Right.
But that is one where they're going to see the continuation of this Don Cheadle or Rhodey story, which prior to this show, so this is a good thing about the show. Prior to this show, I was not crazy excited about Armor Wars. Were you?
Yeah. It wasn't on my radar, so I could care less whether it comes out or not. But it would be interesting to see because I'm a big, Iron Man is my favorite character, so it would be good to see the tech, and see how they spin it. But and hopefully they mature it even beyond Iron Man 3. Yep. So it would be interesting to see, but I can care less if it comes out.
So you being a big Iron Man fan, were you also a War Machine fan?
No, not at all.
Never. No,
he was like a Robin, which nobody cares about.
Yeah. Man, you hating on Robin? Got the Robin shit.
I'm not hating on Robin. It's just like kind of useless. However, I do like the Damian version.
Yes.
Damian's badass.
Yeah. That's why I'm wearing this, man, because Robin gets no love. I'm not the biggest Robin fan either.
Right.
But I saw it online. I'm like, Robin never gets any love, so let me buy the Robin shirt and wear it for all the Robins out there.
But it's interesting, though, because, we love the Damian one, but the kid that was before him that got killed.
Jason Todd.
That dude was a dick.
He was, man. He was
it's like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Robin, which was actually Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
He was cool. He was the introductory, but the second one was a dick, and now we got Damian, so that's cool.
And then you're missing leaving one out, Tim Drake. He was
right
before. But he's so does anyone even remember Tim Drake?
No, it was like a flash, like a I'm here right now until I fill in somebody. But he got killed off too, right? Tim Drake and
I don't think he got killed off. I think he's now Red Robin. Whatever that is, where it's like some kind of Roman type of yeah. But yeah, Damian. I think Damian is probably the most fun Robin because he is an ass. It's funny too. First Robin was named Dick. The current Robin is just a dick. Right. So, embodying the role. But yeah, War Machine. I was never crazy about him. I thought it was. I think some of the suits are pretty cool. I like the black and gray look. Yeah. And we've talked about this a lot here. I was never crazy about Don Cheadle, so I agree with you. It's definitely helped me kind of turn the corner on Don Cheadle's portrayal. And they gave him a lot more to work with. Like we get to see his range, like him playing the Skrull version. But yeah, now I'm going back and thinking about previous Rhodey scenes. And I'm going, was that a Skrull or not? Right. Like remember in Endgame, I forget who he was talking about, but he's talking to Nebula, and they're talking about another Avenger. He goes, "Oh, he's an idiot then," and it was just seems so out of character for. Or if you remember, now this brings back a scene in Endgame where Captain Marvel shows up, and I think it was at the post credit of Infinity War 2 or one of the other movies. Anyways, Captain Marvel shows up, and they're all kind of debating what they're going to do about the Thanos issue, right? Early on in the movie, and Rhodey gets up and he says something to Captain Marvel, like with an attitude. He's like, "Girl, we're also about that superhero life too. Like, basically, like, who are you?" Right. And we know the Skrulls have issues with Captain Marvel. So going back to that.
Because of the Kree stuff.
Yeah, because of the Kree stuff, or them not giving Captain Marvel and Nick Fury never giving them the world they promised, right? So this Nick Fury is a Skrull in disguise. So was that comment said with a little bit of, extra attitude because it was really a Skrull?
Nick Fury or Rhodey?
Rhodey.
Yeah.
So could have been
you said Nick Fury.
Oh, my bad. Rhodey. So who knows? Maybe maybe that my prediction is right since Civil War. So anyways, what else? Anything else moving forward from this show that you predict, and any other thing coming up?
I just want to erase this show. I just want to kind of move on. This was like, it's like when you go to like Dunkin' Donuts, right? And you get that cinnamon raisin bagel, you got that cinnamon, just want that, and then you bite into it and you taste onion. So this was that show.
That was Onion.
Was the Onion.
Got it. You mentioned the Kree. We are going to see, so moving forward, getting off of Secret Invasion, we are going to see the Kree back again in the Marvels. And part of what they're talking about now is some treaty, I guess, right? We're all, so this is maybe where we'll see Nick Fury try to give the Skrulls their own world again. Who knows? With the Kree,
I think it's a setup.
It's set up by the Kree.
Yeah. Because they've been warring all this time,
right.
And there's a lot of lost blood between those two races, and I think it's a setup, and I don't think it's going to be good.
Well, you heard it here first. Adrian's making the prediction. I don't disagree. I could see that definitely happening. Yeah. So when it does happen, just remember where you heard it first.
That's right.
Remember, Adrian sat here. He looked you right in the eye, and he said that this is a setup by the Kree. And I'm co-signing, so we're hidden streak's going to continue, dude. We're on it. Right. We're on it.
Even if we're wrong, we're still over 50%.
Exactly. Oh yeah, we're batting champs right now. We're definitely winning the award at the end of the year.
Yep.
So I think that's it, man. That was it. And good news, Adrian, is we will not have to review another episode of Secret Invasion here on Only Comics.
Absolutely, man. I am glad that this is over. This is like last night. Yesterday, this whole week has been so hot. Yeah. So hot here in New England. And last night, this thunderstorm came. I'm looking for a tornado to drop out the sky. And after that rain came through, it was like a flash flood, right? The rain came through, and now it's just nice and cool. this is that after that reign. We are done with this series. It was the heat. Now the cool is here, and we're moving on.
Yep, moving on to greener pastures,
right?
Better things,
cooler days,
better content. Hopefully, hopefully next week. Now I'm going to make a prediction that we're going to sit here next week, and we're both going to walk in and go, dude, that was one of the best movies we've seen all year, and we're going to review Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Fun fact: did you know that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic was created to be a parody of DC and Marvel?
I did not know that.
I didn't know that till like the other day. I was researching it, and so Daredevil. We talked about Daredevil. Stick, his mentor.
Yep.
Master Splinter was created as a spoof of Stick.
Huh.
Notice he holds the stick, and he's their
right.
sensei, right? Mutants. Now they're mutants.
Hold on. Before we move on, because why is David Carradine still around? I always wonder because I think Bruce Lee tried out for that Kung Fu movie back in the 70s, but they gave it to David Carradine. And he's still around today as some Kung Fu master. I never got that.
Never ending, dude. Never ending. I mean, it's like, dude, I think they know that you have this issue with older people playing these roles, and they're messing with you, dude. Yes, I have an issue with these, these crypt keepers, playing these roles. It kind of muddies the character, I think. I also think it kind of limits what these directors are doing with the characters. So it's just, because they aren't casting in a younger. There's thousands of other quality or qualified actors to play these roles, and they're not reaching out to them. But they're at the same time they're reaching out and getting these obscure comic book characters that mean nothing to anybody, nobody's ever heard of, and they're trying to make entire movies out of them. Again, I've used this word a lot today. Ridiculous. What if, Adrian? What if my boy Andy Muschietti? What if? Imagine this. He's working on a Batman movie. Raven the Bull. What if he pulls Michael Keaton from out the grave again and has him play the Batman in this new movie?
I hope Michael Keaton has not even the balls. Just don't
take the
dude. I appreciate it. I appreciate the offer, but I'm sunsetting at this point.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone. Go find somebody else. I hope Michael Keaton's response is like what was it? Christian Bale's response about the cameo.
Yeah, I'm good.
No, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah, Christian Bale's still the reigning hero. Now, as much as I said Robert Pattinson's my favorite Batman, I have. Christian Bale's one of my favorite Batman actors just because of that.
Right.
Because he said, "Nope, I ain't getting this shit." Yes,
much respect.
Yep. So, anyways, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Mutants. Now that was obviously X-Men: The Mutants, so that's why that was a play off of there. And then they made them teenagers because I guess at the time that was when X-Men was big in the comics, and a lot of the comic book heroes were teenagers, so they wanted to almost make fun of them. So it was done as a parody, but then it gained some traction. So I never knew that, dude. So I researched it the other day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good to know.
Yep, absolutely. So, hey, I guess that's when a parody can work out. Some of these movies we actually thought were parodies and we're not. Like you could have, I actually thought that show Secret Invasion was a parody at some point in the last. Like when they had that Super Skrull fight, I thought that was a parody of the MCU. That was just insane. So who knows, man? Right?
Hey, those intro scenes, those CGI intro scenes, that was definitely parodies.
That was a parody for you. Yep, definitely. So hey, it worked out for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They went big. So, but I'm beyond excited about that. The music, the art style, the acting. I also love this that they have teenagers voicing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Really?
Isn't that a shock?
That's nice.
Did you ever see the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies? With the giant alien-looking turtles.
Nah.
I have not watched it because I can't get past the way they look. Dude, the turtles are like 10 feet tall.
Wow.
They're huge. Their heads look like they look like raisins almost, like they're crushed. They're not cool looking at all. Like matter of fact, I'm gonna pull this up right here so you can see this and you don't think that I'm exaggerating.
Well, while you're doing that, The other thing, the fact that you brought up this stuff about the history of how these things how this stuff is evolving.
Yep.
Another prediction.
All right.
I think that because of Only Comics, I think that there's going to be a resurgence, and you're going to see it in media and the movies of history, why things are happening. And I think, and I hope that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will inspire its audience to like do deep dives on some of these characters. And also, and what that would mean is that there would be a pushback on, what the Muschietis are trying to do.
Yeah.
They're trying to not uphold the legacy of these characters. They're trying to spin their own versions of these characters, and I think it's just wrong.
Right. Well, here it is, dude. Take a peek. That's not a joke. That's not AI. That is what they looked like in the Michael Bay movie.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's not Ninja Turtles, dude. That's not how they look. No. So I love that they're back to like the real look.
Right.
I love that they're voiced by teenagers.
Yeah.
Even
that's
in the,
cool. That's really cool.
I mean, they should be.
Right.
You look back at some of these old movies. Grease, for example. You've seen Grease, right?
Yep.
Classic, right?
Classic.
America, Grease, yeah, John Travolta. Oh my God, did you know they had to sew the pants? Everyone knows all these little cute facts, and every Halloween you're gonna see people with the pink jackets. You get like, but Grease, do you know that they're supposed to be in high school?
Yeah.
And they're like 30 and 40-year-old people.
Right. It's like Tobey Maguire playing Spider-Man.
Exactly. Yep. My man's at that point like in his 30s, and he's in high school.
Yep.
So and that's partly why, I mean, as much Tom Holland's great in general, but partly why I love him as Spider-Man is he looks like he was in high school when he started playing Spider-Man in high school.
Correct.
Why is that so hard?
Yeah. It's not. It's just, again, these people, these directors, they have their own version of what they're trying to produce.
Yep.
And instead of finding the right character, and I'm not saying Tobey Maguire wasn't a good Spider-Man for
great.
the time.
Right.
But if you're gonna have a teen, play a thing, make him look like a teen.
Right.
Instead of a shaved 45-year-old.
Exactly. So I think they are getting better at that. Even like, we don't see as much of the whitewashing happening, like where they have an Asian character played by a white dude.
Right.
Like, dude, in the comics, he's Asian. Why is he white in this movie?
Speaking of that, the guy from The Walking Dead, I think, is there's rumor or he's been cast as Sentry. I
did hear that. Yes.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Wait. So I don't know a lot about Sentry.
That just doesn't seem to be a correct fit because the Sentry is supposed, unless this dude bulks up like crazy, or you're gonna have like a nipple Batman costume thing going on, because the Sentry is supposed to be like this Superman level or above level character. I'm not seeing it.
No,
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a prediction here. They're gonna back themselves in the corner with the Sentry character, or they're gonna make him a joke like they did with who's the guy, Adam, from Guardians, gold guy, the little thing in his head.
Oh, Adam Warlock.
Like how they made him a joke because they're too powerful. Like we talked about with Franklin Richards, they're too powerful to portray on screen.
Right.
But because we'll just have Gaia show up with her 25 different Hulk hands, and I mean that's going to be the answer to everything now, right? Like
when we don't have someone powerful enough, let's bring up Little Lord Fauntleroy.
Yeah,
Gaia, and she'll just fill in all the blanks.
Yep. Last thing I'll say about Ninja Turtles, imagine if Andy Muschietti directed a Ninja Turtle movie. He would have Michael Keaton playing Michelangelo. He'd have George Clooney in there as Leonardo, definitely. I mean, he'd have all these old guys play the teenagers. So good thing he's not at the helm of this. So thank God for Seth Rogen and the rest of the crew.
Let's just resurrect Adam West, or do make it like a Tupac 3D rendition, laser rendition of Adam West, and throw him in there too.
That's funny, dude. Actually, I saw a guy. We didn't talk about this. We both went to the Terrificon around here, different days. But I saw someone dressed up as the Adam West Batman when I was there. So it was really cool cosplay. Yep. And I did talk to so X-Men '97. That's the it's not even a reboot. It's a continuation of the X-Men animated series from the 90s, right? 97 was the year they stopped. Cal Dodd, who is known for being the iconic Wolverine voice, my man was there. So I asked him, I said, dude, what's up with this show? He said that we're not going to see it till next year. Now, another thing he said, though, was that they've already recorded episodes for season 2. So this show hasn't even been dropped yet, and there's already season 2 confirmed.
Nice.
So there's some news for you. You heard it first on Only Comics.
Cool.
I think that's it, dude.
Works for me.
Yep. Another good week, another fun week. One of my friends, Adrian, they were like, how are you guys going to do your show with that, that show being so bad? I'm like, oh, dude, that's going to be like that. Those are the most fun episodes. Like, give us shitty content. We'll have a blast.
2 words. Cannon fodder.
Absolutely. So our buddy this week was my man Ali, right?
Yep.
He was our buddy. We'll see if maybe Andy Muschietti takes the title back next week. We got to keep a track because he's got 5 or 6 weeks. It could be anyone.
Yeah.
I'm
sure Muschietti come back at some point.
Oh yeah, he's the reigning champ, dude. It's like Hulk Hogan. He always came back at some point,
Right.
So guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for downloading. Adrian, thanks for joining me here.
Always, baby.
We are here, Only Comics, where we discuss comics and only comics. We'll see you next week.
Peace.